Corn School is brought to you by BASF and Pride Seeds.
So lots of low test weight corn out in the countryside, and one of the biggest questions I get asked is, do I combine it or do I leave it stand in the field because it's 34, 35, 38%, and gosh, it's going to cost me 80 cents a bushel to dry the stuff. Well, let's think about that. It's November, mid-November. What's the best we can hope for in terms of losing moisture out of the corn crop? It's likely 1% per week. If we got really awesome weather, could we lose 1.5% or 2%? Maybe, but most likely it's 1% a week. If I'm at 35% and it's 75 cents a bushel drying cost, I leave it out for 3 weeks. Yeah, so I lost 3 or 4%. And what have I gained? Maybe 6 or 8 cents a bushel less drying. That difference is really, really small. I think you make the decision. You do the push test. Make sure that it's going to stand. If it's going to stand, then you either say, I'm going to leave it out till mid-December or January or maybe next March, because that's how long it's going to take to really make a difference in dropping that moisture, or I bite the bullet and get it out of the field right now. So then you say, but it is 35%, it's low test weight, what do I do about that? The combine, you really have to do everything you can not to get fines in the combine. So that means run the cylinder as slowly as you can. On the rotaries, on some of them, you just don't want it to be in the rotor very long, so you actually speed them up. I'm not an expert on rotors, I'm a conventional guy. Whatever you do, make sure you're just trying to take corn against corn, get that corn off and not get into a lot of fines. The other thing is at the drying end, and here's where it really makes a difference, because we can do a lot of damage in the dryer, and test weight is the big kicker right now. So grade 5 corn is $12 a ton discount. Let me just say, before I go any further, thanks to the industry, I think they've done a super job of keeping grade discounts low, relatively low. In fact, many elevator outlets for a grade 3 are $0 discount. That's excellent. But $12 a ton, that's about 30 cents a bushel on $4 corn. That's a pretty significant hit if you're grade 5 corn. If we can get it through the dryer and not puff it up, it generally gains test weight. But if you cook it at too high a temperature, then it doesn't always gain test weight. If you're a dryer operator, I love these tips from John Nadke. He's the drying guru in North America, and he's just become like Johnson. He's sort of a test plot guy. So you have your plenum temperature at whatever, 200 degrees. You let it come through and get to equilibrium moisture content, 14.5, whatever you're going to. Do a test weight. Then drop your plenum temperature 10 degrees, so go to 190, and then let it come to equilibrium, do another test weight. So if you were at 51.2 and you drop the plenum temperature, you get to 51.3, that's a gain, so drop it another 10, and just repeat the process until you no longer gain that test weight. And yes, you're going to say, as soon as I drop the plenum temperature, then I lose efficiency. I'm putting less bushels per hour through, and I don't want to drop it, I want to increase it. In fact, I talked to an elevator operator this morning who had increased his plenum temperature by 20 degrees Fahrenheit, and all I can say is, yes, it will take you longer now, but gosh, if you have grade 4 corn and you can make it grade 3 corn down the road, that's going to be a lot easier next May to sell into a premium market than it is if you puff it up, or worse yet, if you have sample corn, then you're going to really, really suffer. So whatever you can do, make sure you try to get that test weight back. One last quick note. In this process, we are going to have a lot of fines. It's just a type of year where you get a lot of fines. When you put it into the bin, you must core it. Take the core out because the fines settle in the center. Pull the core, run it through the cleaner again, even if you dump that corn straight back in, because we have to be able to aerate this corn, and corn full of fines, you can't push the air through. So a bunch of things there. It's a tough year, but I think we can get through it. Actually, the test weight's been coming up better than we expected. That's a good news story. Let's stay with it. Let's do the best job we can and have a quality crop out the end of the pipe.